So today's lesson is going to be our second complete lesson, and today we're going to be talking about mouse skills. So we're going to talk about left click, we're going to talk about right click, we're going to talk about double clicking and single clicking. We're going to talk about dragging items on your desktop from one place to another, and I'll talk more about what all of those different terms mean. But today should be a really good training. It's going to be a foundational training. So I would encourage you all, if this is going to be a new training for you, to make sure that you find our YouTube page, and Erica or Ellie, if y'all want to post that in the chat, that would be fantastic. If you want to find our YouTube page and you can review this training, it'll be up by tomorrow on our Mission Africa YouTube page, where you'll be able to review it and on your own. And you can, of course, do that from your phone or your laptop device or whatever you use to access the internet. So we'll again be talking about mouth skills. So today, by the end of the lesson, learners will be able to click on buttons or click items on the computer. They'll learn about double clicking to open files and or folders. You're going to learn about, again, dragging items from one place on the computer to the next. And we'll also learn about a right click. So a right click is going to be your middle finger. If you're normally holding a mouse, right? So I have my mouse here and you can see I have two fingers. So there's these two buttons. So you can see that there's, on a normal mouse, you have the right click, you have the roller in the middle, and then you have your left click, which is your middle finger. And so I'll be demonstrating that throughout the training today. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah, so I'll be demonstrating that throughout, that this is what your normal mouse looks like, and you have the roller button in the middle. You have your right click, which is normally going to be your pointer finger. The right click will select items. If you double click, so a single click will select an item on your computer. A double click on an item will open that item. So if you have a folder or a file, a double click, so boom, boom, will open up a file or a folder. So I'll demonstrate that shortly. And then this is our right click, which brings up a menu, and we'll look at that and what that does. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and actually start by showing some physical files. So everyone knows here, if you have paper, this is a file. So here I have 4 pieces of paper, and let's say that these are 4 different files, or 4 different certificates, right? So they say certificate on it, and everyone knows that, oftentimes in non-digital world, pieces of paper go into folders, right? So I have a folder here and I have my files here. And in a normal world, outside of the digital world, anybody here ever worked with filing cabinets before? You have a lot of folders in there. You have your papers and your different files. And these files go inside of these folders like that, right? So inside of each folder, you may have lots of files. Okay. Again, file going into the folder. And then also, if you have a really big folder, sometimes you may have a folder inside of a folder. So sometimes you have a folder that says maybe, taxes, right? So that'll be the main folder. And then inside of that folder, you have a separate folder for each year of taxes: 2023, 2022, and 2021. Well, a computer works the exact same way. You have files, you have folders, and folders can go inside of folders. And so I want to just show you what that looks like on a computer. So when you open up your computer, uh, you are normally going to see a desktop like you see here. You guys should see my desktop. And just to orient you to the desktop here, normally on a desktop, you're going to have your start menu down here at the bottom. So you can see here, I have my mouse. So my mouse is that kind of that pointer thing that you see moving around the screen. And of course, that's moving as I move my mouse that I have here physically in my hand. So I'm just moving it around on my table, also known as a desktop. So I'm moving my mouse around and it moves around the desktop, and I can select things. So again, if I just do a one click, I can select things. or I can double click to open something. So let's take a look at how this all works. So I'm going to just go ahead and just move all my files together for a second. I'll move all my folders together for a second. And then we have a program here in the middle, and then we have a recycle bin. So over here, these are all of the folders. And folders on a computer work the exact same way as they do in real life, right? So your folders hold files. And sometimes if you have a really big folder, again, like I used in the earlier demonstration, if you have a folder for, let's say, taxes, you might have multiple folders within that main folder that hold other files. And so these are what folders look like. They're very easy to make. We'll show you guys and demonstrate that here shortly. Here on the right side, I'm just selecting for you all. This is files. So I have a Microsoft Word file. I have a PowerPoint file here, and I have a PDF file. So these are all different types of files that may commonly come across on a computer. And again, these are just things that you can open up. So let's say I double clicked here and there's nothing in this particular document right now, but I just opened up a Microsoft Word, and let's say I wanted to call this one resume, and I wanted to write, a resume. So I'm just going to go ahead and close that out really quick. So that is a Word document. Oh, sorry about that. It moved back over here. I'm gonna move it back over. Okay. So that's what a Word document looks like. Here's PowerPoint, and then again, a PDF. And then right here in the middle, we have a recycle bin. So a recycle bin is where you would place items that, just like if you had a folder or a file that you were using and you were completely done with it, you didn't need it anymore, then you can erase that and you can just drop it into the recycle bin right here, and then it'll just go away. And the recycle bin, what's nice about the recycle bin is the recycle bin will hold on to items until you want to get rid of them essentially forever. So you can get it off your desktop. Maybe you want to clean up, just like we all clean up at our homes, right? And we move papers and get rid of this paper. I don't need this paper anymore. I don't need this piece of mail anymore. And you take it to the recycle bin. So same thing happens here. We can take these documents when we're done with them, and we can drop them into the recycle bin. The recycle bin is just like the recycle bin that you have at home. It will stay full until you empty it. But once you empty it, it's just like the recycle bin at your home. Once the trash man comes to pick it up, it's gone forever. And so it's nice because it gives you a chance to potentially recover a document or a file if you put it in the recycle bin and decide later that you need to actually come back and pick that up. Okay. Does anybody have any questions generally about what we just discussed before I move on? So we talked about what are folders, we talked about files, and we talked about the recycle bin. Oh, the other thing that you may see on your desktop is a program. So I have a lot of programs down here. So these are software programs that do various different things. I have Zoom down here. I have Microsoft or Google Chrome. So right here, this is Google Chrome. This is the icon for that. And if I double click that icon, it will actually open up the internet, and I can check my Gmail, I can browse the internet, I can go to YouTube and different things like that. So an icon like this is a application. Like if you saw it on your phone, it'd be called an app. On a computer, they typically call it like a software program, and you can just double click it. And so I do want to also indicate to you guys that each one of these, so anytime you see a button on a computer, so all of these are actually called icons. So an icon is anything that you can click and it'll open up. So a folder can be an icon. This is a recycle bin icon. We have icons for these files over here. And then all of these buttons here at the bottom are also considered icons. So I wanted to make sure that I covered that for you all. Any questions so far? I'll pause for a second. Okay. So who can tell me, well, little quick question here. how many folders do I have on my desktop? And my desktop is, again, this black area, just like if you had, you're sitting at a desk, at a computer desk. The top of that computer desk is your desktop. Same thing here. This is your desktop, this area where everything is at. So on my desktop right now, how many folders do I have? This is for the audience. Anybody want to answer that?
Oh,
I have
you have
4
a phone.
folders. Exactly. How many files do I have on the desktop right now?
3.
Hmm. And how many programs do I have on the desktop right now?
2.
1.
So, some might say 1, 2. Okay.
2.
Who can explain to me what the recycle bin does?
Recycles are all your junk material.
To remove what you don't want, you don't need.
Exactly. Just like cleaning up your house, you have mail that you're not using. And how long, and I didn't quite cover this, so this is a little bit more advanced. How long will the recycle bin hold your old documents before they disappear?
30 days.
30 days.
30 days.
It'll actually hold it as long as you until you delete it. So if I go in my recycle bin, I'm going to open up my recycle bin here. And let's see what's the oldest thing I have in here. Let's see. I'm going to move that over. See, I have things in here that were deleted. I haven't emptied mine in a while. Look at this. I have things in here from August. I have some things in here. And if I click this, so the oldest thing I have in here, I deleted on April 1st of 2023. I need to clean out my recycle bin. I have a lot of items in here. See right here, I have 277 items in my recycle bin right now. So I haven't cleaned up my recycle bin in a while. Maybe I'll do it today while we're on here, and I'll clean that up because these are all documents that I deleted at one point, but I haven't permanently deleted them because they are still sitting in my recycle bin. Okay, let's see. Last question. What is this big black area called here? Actually, last 2 questions. This big black area, what do we call this?
Monitor.
What do we call this big black area again? Where everything sits. It's called the desktop. The desktop, yes. So just again, like if you had a bunch of folders and they were just sitting on your desk, that's your desktop. Same thing here on the computer, the area where when you open your computer and most files are going to sit. So you can have folders or files on your desktop. And there's a lot of things you can do on the desktop, but I'll kind of leave it at that for right now. Okay. Last thing, how many icons?
What did you mean?
How many icons? Was there a question? Okay. How many icons do you see on my desktop right now? Not including these here at the bottom. How many icons are on the actual desktop?
Nine.
9. Yes. Every single one of these is an icon. We have icons here. We have these 2 icons, and we have the icons for the folder. Because again, an icon is just something. All icon is something that you can click. Okay. All right. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead now and demonstrate to you all how it works when you are clicking around. So
Which one is monitor?
You guys are actually the monitor. Okay, so great question. So a monitor is actually a physical device. Let me stop sharing here. I'll show you guys my monitor. Let me show you guys. So y'all can see my screen here. So this is my monitor. It's a little bit blurry because I have on the blur right now because my office is dirty, and I apologize. But the monitors, what you're actually looking at, so a monitor is going to be physically plugged into your computer, and it's going to display the desktop. So when you turn on your monitor, it's displaying your desktop. Does that answer the question?
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So a monitor is what we call hardware. So if you remember from our last class, we talked about hardware versus software. So hardware is things that you can physically touch, right? So my keyboard is hardware. My monitors that I have, and I have 2 extra monitors, so I have my laptop in front of me, I have a monitor here on the left, and I have a monitor here on the right. So I have 3 screens I'm looking at. A laptop is hardware. A mouse, a printer. All of those things are hardware because you can physically touch it, right? So that makes it hardware. So a monitor would be hardware, but then when you turn it on, the things that you see on it, that's all going to be software. So in this case, when we go back over and we look at my desktop here, we are looking at the software desktop where all of the files and the folders and the icons live. Okay. So hopefully that helps. We got another person joining here. Okay. So now I want to talk about clicking, double clicking, right clicking, what all those different things do and how we can really utilize our mouse, because our mouse can do a lot for us. I do want to let you guys know. So there's different kinds of mouses. Let me stop sharing my screen for a second. So here we have this mouse, and you can see that this looks a little bit different than a normal mouse. You see it has the 2 buttons, and then it also has the wheel here in the middle. So the wheel in the middle is used, let's say you're on an internet page and you want to scroll up or down, right? So you want to scroll up, you want to scroll down. You can use this wheel here to move up and down the page. And then, of course, this is my left click, where if I click something one time, it'll just select it. If I double click it, and your double click has to be pretty quick. It has to be boom, boom. If you go 1, 2, it's not going to open the document like you want. And I'll demonstrate that shortly. And then the other button over here, this is our right click, and this will open up a menu on your desktop. So let's talk about that. I do want to show you there is another type of mouse, and if you've ever worked on a laptop, you know that also, I'm actually going to turn off my blur so you guys can see me for a second. Okay. So here is a laptop, okay? And a laptop also has this is what we call a trackpad. It does the same thing as a mouse, but it's on your actual laptop, because when you get a laptop, everything is in this laptop, right? The battery, you have the speakers, you have the monitor, the keyboard, and then down here you have the mouse. So this is called actually the trackpad though. So a mouse is an external device like this, but this trackpad does the same thing that the mouse does, but you don't have to have this external device. So if you're just maybe going to a coffee shop and all you have is your laptop, you can still get around using this trackpad here. And it does the same exact thing. You guys can see that I'm moving my mouse around right now using my finger. You guys can hopefully see that. And then here you also have your left click, and then you have your right click. So it does essentially the same thing as a mouse, but it's more compact, and you can use that. So I did want to point that out. This is called a trackpad. So you will see that again. Very important to understand. Trackpad and a mouse do the same thing. Okay, great. Okay. So now I am going to go ahead and show you guys some of the different clicks that we have. All righty. So over here on my screen, you should see the icons again, the folders, and so forth. And when you click something, so I'm going to just click this folder that says personal. If I notice that when I put my mouse over it, it kind of highlights it a little bit. Doesn't do a whole lot. It just kind of highlights it. Same thing if I go over this PDF. If I just move my mouse over it, it just highlights it just slightly, doesn't do anything. It doesn't open it. But if I double click this folder, so let's see what happens when I click it one time. So again, I am using my pointer finger right now. So I'm going to use my pointer finger right here, and I'm going to left click personal. It just selects it. Nothing else happens. So it means that I'm going to normally about to do something with this folder. But now if I go over the folder, it gives me a little bit of information. It tells me the date that this folder was created and if it's available, and it also says that this folder is empty. So a little bit of information. Again, when I hadn't selected it, if I go over it, let's see, let me get off of it. So if I select this one now, again, it'll give me a little bit of info if I stay on top of it. So that's a single click. So if you single click and hold, so if you single click and hold, single click and hold, single left click and hold, you can actually move something around the desktop. So all I did there was I single click and I'm holding it down, and then I release it when I want to drop it. So we call that click, drag, drop. So click and hold, drag, so move it to where you want it, and then release, and that'll drop it. So click, drag, drop, click, drag, drop, click, drag, drop, and I'm going to click one more time, click and hold, and I'm going to bring it all the way back over here where I want it. So why would that be useful? Again, if you're an organized person, you're the person that like folds your clothes and your laundry, and you have organized closet and you keep your house nice and tidy. You're probably going to do the same thing on your computer, and you're going to want things to be nice and organized and not like this would drive some of you crazy. If this was your computer, you'd be like, I don't like this. This is uncomfortable. It's unorganized. But then when you see this, because you can click, drag, and drop, this makes you happy. Does this make anybody happy? I'm sure it does, because it's a little bit more organized. So that's how you move things around. You can do the same thing with documents. You can click, drag, and drop. You can also click, drag, and drop documents into a folder. So right now we have multiple folders, and I'm just going to use these ones here. So we have a personal folder, but let's say everything is personal. Maybe you decide, you know what? Church stuff, that's my personal stuff. Is my work stuff, that's probably also for me and my vehicles. I actually want to put all these folders inside of the personal folder. I want to clean up my desktop a little bit. I just want to clean it up a little bit. So first thing, would resume fall under personal? Probably. So let's clean up our desktop a little bit, and I'm going to actually take resume. I'm going to click and drop it. I'm going to click, drag, and drop it. But now I'm going to put it into the folder called personal. So again, I'm clicking using my left finger, clicking and holding, and then I'm just going to hold that button until I move it. And notice when I put the file over the folder, it says move to personal. So as I release the mouse button, it disappears.
Wow.
But now, do you see how the personal folder changed? So these over here are empty and they're just yellow. But this one over here now has a little white thing in it. So it's showing you there's actually a file in that folder now. So if I double click personal, it opens up. So again, what is a double click? It's a double tap, right? So boom, boom. It has to be pretty quick. And now I see my file in the folder called personal, and it's right there. It's called resume. So if I wanted to open that, I would do another double click, and it would open up my resume. But I'm going to go ahead and close it. So let's say again, we're organizing, we're cleaning up, and we say, you know what? I actually want to move these church, work, and vehicle folders. I want to move those into personal. So I'm going to just grab and click and drag and drop again. I'm going to just move work right on over into personal. I'm going to do the same thing with church. And I'm going to do the same thing with vehicles. So I've now moved all of those things into the folder personal. Can anyone tell me how would I then see those folders and see where they're at?
By going on top of it.
Open up personal, right?
Oh, personal, yeah.
So it's everything is in there, right? So I'm going to double click personal because again, double click is going to open.
Okay.
And then you go to whichever
And then-
file you want.
Then we see them
And-
separate.
And see what we have here. We have the 3 folders and we have resume.
Mhm.
Okay. And so that is how you would organize your desktop. You can move things around and move files around and also folders. And of course, here we have a folder called personal. And inside of that folder, we have the 3 folders for church, vehicles, and work. Any questions on folders and moving folders and opening folders?
Are you able to put something on those empty files when they are in there?
The folders?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I can. So let's say we have something we want to do for church. So let's say your pastor sent you a song that you're going to sing on Sunday. And I'm going to just, so this is a actually good introduction to right click. So notice when I left click, I can select items. If I want to make a document and put it on my desktop, I'm going to use the other clicker. So I'm going to use the right click. So my middle finger, I'm going to click with my middle finger now. So if I click on the desktop and then I do new. So again, I right clicked and it brings up a menu now. And there's a lot of different things you can do here with this menu. You can make new things. You can change your display settings. I won't do all of these today, but right now I want to show you just if you go to new and you can make a new, let's say a Word document. And I'm going to call it song. Okay. For work, let's make a work document real quick. I'm going to do right click and do new. I'm going to make a work document and it's going to be called work schedule. And then for vehicles, I'm going to right click. I'm going to do new. And I'm going to call this one vehicle registration. Right. So when you register your vehicle, you guys are all familiar. You get paper in the mail and it says this is your vehicle registration. And sometimes it's good to keep a copy of that for yourself. And so I'm going to just go ahead and grab vehicle registration and I'm going to drag and drop it directly into vehicles. I'm going to do the same thing with work schedule. I'm going to drag and drop it directly into work. And then I'm going to take song and I'm going to drag and drop that directly into church. Notice it as I put it over it, it says, do you want to move this to church? And you can just release and then it'll drop it in there. And now if I go to church, you can see we have a document here for song. If I go to vehicles, probably have quite a bit here actually, because this is actually my live folder for my vehicles in my house. You have vehicle registration, but you can see here, these are all the cars we've had in the past couple of years. So I have an Acura, a couple BMWs, we have a Toyota Highlander, and in each one of those folders, you'll see that I have some different, documents. I have our tabs renewal, I have a receipt from when we paid for the oil change. I have an insurance document here for our Highlander, and I have a receipt where we bought 2 tires on 7/10/23. So again, I like to stay organized with my files. So right here, if I open up this file, you will see that I have a receipt that shows that Eric Hunter bought 2 tires in Tracy, California on this date, and here's the amount and everything right here. So again, just a great way to stay organized because oftentimes when you buy things, the retailer will offer you the ability to email you the receipt. Well, when you get that email, now you know that you can download it and you can save it here. Normally, when you download something, just as a FYI, it goes to this folder here called downloads. So this is a folder, and every time you download something on the internet, it will go into this folder, and you would just simply cut, and a cut is also right here. So cut just means that you're moving it from one location to the next. So let's say I wanted to cut this document here. I would just select it. I would do cut. Then I would go back to personal. And let's say I wanted to paste it here in personal. I would then just right click, and here's the option for paste. And it moves that document from downloads into where I actually want it to live at. Any questions on that?
What is the difference cut and paste?
Yes, thank you for that question. So cut is, right, your scissors. So I'm going to turn off my screen share for just a second. So cutting is, right, you're going to physically take something out of its location. And now I have this thing, and I'm going to move it to a separate location. So cut means it's in a location on your computer. You don't want it to be there anymore. I want to move it somewhere else. So cut is going to remove it from the previous location, and then paste is going to place it where you want it. So when you get it to where you want it to go, you paste. So I'm going to show you again. I'm going to cut it and paste it back. Let me just share my screen here. So I'm going to cut it and paste it back now to downloads. So this document is here, getting started with OneDrive. I have it selected. Notice up here, I have some options: cut, copy, rename, and paste is not an option because I haven't copied anything yet. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it right here. Notice it doesn't go anywhere quite yet. It's still there because I haven't told it where I want it to go. But then if I come over here to this folder called downloads, there's an option here to paste. And this is the icon for paste. So I'm going to click that one time. And it moves it. Did you notice that it moved it from here? So it cut it from my personal folder and it pasted it to my downloads folder. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I want to show you one other option that's a really good option. Sometimes you just want a copy of a document to move, right? So let's say I wanted it to be here in downloads, but I also wanted a copy of it under my personal folder. In that case, you would, instead of cutting it, because cutting is going to actually move it because it's only going to be one copy of it. But if you go to the document and you click this button, this is the copy button. So you see that as I have my icon over that, it says copy. So if I hit copy, and now I come back to my personal folder here. So I'm now back over my personal folder. Now I'm going to paste. So I'm pasting again, but this time I copied, I didn't cut. So I'm going to paste it. Notice that it puts it here. So it pasted it here, but it's also still in the downloads drive. So that's the difference between cutting and copying. A copy literally is making a copy, just like having a copy of a document. You have two. It works very similar in Windows. But a cut is going to move it from its original location to a completely new location. Okay, perfect. Couple
Thank you so
questions. You're welcome. So a couple of just questions for you guys here. So to open a folder, I'm going to close these folders. To open a folder, do I do a single click, a double click, or do I right click?
Double click.
You do a double click, boom, boom.
Double click. Perfect. Excellent. And then can folders go inside of folders? Yes or no? Can you have a folder inside of a folder?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
you can. Yes, yes. Let's see. How do you create a folder from the desktop? Do I click
Right
once?
click.
Right click. Yes, right click. Gives you the menu, and then you can make a new folder. You can make a new document here. You guys are good. Impressed. This is good. How would I move this document into this folder?
Drag to drop.
You click, drag,
Drag.
and
Drag,
drop.
drag and
Left
drop.
click.
Mhm.
You click, drag, and drop.
Drop.
Yes, you guys are
Drop,
good.
yeah.
You guys got it. Click, drag,
Drag
and drop.
and drop.
We should make a song. I'm just saying. That sounds like it could be a song. Click, drag, drop. My wife's probably laughing right now because there is a song kind of like that. All right. So we talked about left clicking. We've talked about right clicking. You know what? One thing I haven't shown you is how to empty your recycle bin. So let's open up my recycle bin. And we see that I have a lot of documents here. Again, my oldest one was from April 1st of 2023. So I want to get rid of everything now because this is taking up space on my computer. These files do have sizes. So you can see here some of the sizes. And they're not real big, but over time, if you don't delete these things, they can take up space on your computer that your computer may need. So you do want to come in and empty your recycle bin when you remember, every 30 days or so. I'm way behind. You guys caught me. It's been since April, so it's been more than 7 months. But there's a button just right here. So there's actually 2 ways to do it. So you can open the recycle bin like I did. So double click it. And it opens up your recycle bin. So I can click empty recycle bin here. And notice what it says. It says delete all items in the recycle bin to free up disk space. So that's freeing up space on your computer. The other way to do it is if I right click on the recycle bin icon. So if I right click, it also gives me an option. I don't even have to open the recycle bin. I can just do it straight from here and I can click empty recycle bin. So I'm going to do the first option. I'm going to double click it, which is essentially opening up this program. And then I'm just going to hit empty recycle bin. And then it says, are you sure? And it always will do this. You want to permanently delete all of these items. And I am. So I'm going to hit yes. And there goes those 310 items. They're all gone. And now I have a nice empty recycle bin. So if I were to go do another deletion, it would do that. So right now, let's go to personal.
After this notes,
Well-
it can cover or not?
Can you say that again?
After recycle bin is clean, it's possible recover or not?
No.
No, it is not. It is not. So it's very important. So let's say I deleted this document right here, this getting started with OneDrive. So let's say I take this document and I move it to the recycle bin. I'm done with it. Let me move it over here. 1 second. Give me 1 second. Trying to move this document here. Things are a little bit slow right now. Let's see. Okay, close that out. All right, can you guys see my desktop again?
Yes, you can see it.
Okay, so we are going to do a little bit of review now. So let me just bring this over. And we're going to answer a couple questions. And I've been asking you guys questions throughout, so I think you guys are going to be ready for this. So I'm going to click to type text. So how do you open a folder? So
Did you show us how to delete that text? To put it in the cycle?
the document,
Yeah.
yeah, my computer locked up here. I can't move this right now for some reason.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and I don't want to cut off the Zoom.
What
So
is the other option if you don't want to delete everything in the recycle bin? Are you able to pick one, and then you delete?
you can, yes, you can. So you can go into the recycle bin and select just single documents to delete. But normally you've already deleted everything. So that's why it's in the recycle bin. So normally if it's there, you can just get rid of it if you haven't come back and used it anytime lately, normally. But you do have that option. Okay. So we're going to do a little bit of a quiz here. You guys are ready because you guys just answered most of these questions, but just a little bit of a review to reinforce our learning today. And then we'll wrap up with me showing you guys how you all can access this same lesson online again. So here are our answers here at the top, and we're going to go through these 7 questions. And each of these 7 questions here will be one of these will be the answer. So one of these may be used twice. So here we go. So type text. So how do you open a folder? Click, double click, click and hold, icon, menu, or right click. How do you open a folder?
Double click.
Double click. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. And how do you move a file or a folder out of
You
these
click.
options here?
You click,
Click
you
and
drag
drag.
and drop.
Drag and drop.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Good job. How do you open a menu? So remember I showed you guys do you click, double click, right click,
You
menu
like
icon. You right click, you use that middle finger and you click and it'll drop down that menu. So you have some different options. Exactly. What does right click open? So when you right click, what does it open?
it opens the menu.
It opens the menu. How do you push a button? So if there's a button on your iPad, yes, exactly. You click. Just one single click will push a button. So like these buttons down here at the bottom of my screen, if I click them one time, it'll select it. What is a picture of a file or a folder called? What is a picture of a file or a folder called?
Icon.
An icon, yes. And then lastly, how many icons are in the picture below? How many icons are in this picture below?
5.
5.
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, you guys got it. Excellent. Good job. I think we're learning some stuff here today. That was good. That was good. That was a good lesson. This is a foundational lesson. It really is, because these are skills you will use every single time that you get on a computer. You're going to click, you're going to double click, you're going to right click, you're going to drag and drop maybe some files and some folders. You're going to be dealing with icons and double clicking. So this is just a really foundational learning. You guys did fantastic. The last thing I want to show you all is North Star. So if you are on this call today and you do not have a North Star account, and North Star is the curriculum that we are using for our training, and I'm going to set you guys all up with a North Star account tonight. So you may already have one. If you already have one, then I will go ahead and probably just resend you an invite if you haven't accessed it in a while, and that will help you make sure that you can get a fresh start with it. And so I'll keep that as an option. But for most of you, you probably do not have a North Star account. And so I want to just show you how you would access that. So I'm going to share my screen because I'm going to set you guys up with an account tonight. You are going to get an email at the email that you use to register for today's training. And in that email, it's going to ask you to verify that you wanted an account, one. And then secondly, it's going to have a button for you to click. And when you click that button, it will allow you to set up your own password. definitely choose a password that you will remember, and then you will be able to access the North Star training. So here is the website for the North Star training. I'll put it in the chat. It's digitalliteracyassessment.org. So it's going to look like this. And I will talk about this pretty much at every training now because it's very important. It's good to be here at the training. To reinforce the training, though, is really good to be able to do some of this on your own and go back and review. And then, of course, we're also going to have our YouTube channel. So you can just log in here. Again, you're going to get email tonight. You'll set up your password, and then you'll be able to log in. So I'm going to click log in. I'm going to just go ahead and log in with my information. Okay. If you do not remember your password, you can always hit reset my password right here. When you hit reset, it will send you an email with a link to reset your password. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. So when you log in, you know you logged in because it'll have your name up here in the top right, say Eric here, and it's always going to ask you right now, are you physically at a North Star location? You can always click no because you're primarily going to be using this from home to reinforce our learning. So then you can just hit save. Okay. Once you do that, it will open up to this dashboard here. So I just want to orient you a little bit so that you're familiar. So right now, all of the classes that we are teaching are under the basic skills, the basic computer skills. As we go through our curriculum, we will teach on internet basics and email. We're going to talk about Windows and Mac environments. We're going to talk about some of these softwares down here. But for the time being, if you guys want to go back and review, you can come here to lessons. So again, under basic computer skills, you can go to lessons. And then there's several lessons. So there's a lesson on getting started with computers. This is a little bit of the curriculum we talked about last week where we talked about software versus hardware. So this is the curriculum there. And to do it, you would just click on what are computers. So notice when I get the icon of a hand, that means that I can click it. There's a live link there and it's going to take me to something. Notice here we have controlling the computer. So this is the lesson that we talked about today. We didn't go through all of the keyboard stuff. We'll do that in the next lesson. But the mouse actions here is what we talked about today. So if you wanted to start that lesson on your own and go and review, you could just click here. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Mouse actions. And so this is the demonstration of a mouse, and it talks about scrolling. If I hit next here, it talks about, see how it works. Once you go through the training at the end, it will ask you some questions. If you ever want to go back, you can always click online learning up here, and it'll take you back to that dashboard. And then the last thing I wanted to show, if we have any Spanish speakers, you can click profile here and you can change the language of the audio and the text on the screen to Latin American Spanish. But essentially, we just have the basic computer skills. We have lessons. There's a lot of different lessons that you can even go ahead and get ahead of us if you'd like and come in here. And once you go through the lesson, you can start practice, or you can even go ahead and take an assessment and see and test your knowledge on this particular skill set, basic computer skills. So that's North Star Online Learning. Again, this is something I would really encourage you all to use on your own time because it's going to reinforce the training. You'll be able to learn some of the skills on your own time, and then we can just continue to advance here when you are in class. Any questions on North Star? Okay, Ellie or Erica, do you guys have anything else to add? You guys are my helpers and help me make sure I don't miss anything. Ellie or Erica, anything else?
Everything looks good.
Nothing to add. Thank you.
Nothing.
All right, everyone. So the link for Zoom is going to be the same. We'll be sending out emails throughout the week. So look for those, and just glad to have you all on. It's 6:59, so we'll call it a night. Thank you guys. I hope you learned something, and we'll see you guys next week right here, Thursday, 6 p.m.